Hey everyone, ready to explore Zimbabwe with us today? We're taking a deep dive into its UNESCO World Heritage Sites.
Always up for a good UNESCO adventure.
You know me, so we'll definitely get to those iconic images, Victoria Falls, the savannah, all that, but Zimbabwe's got a lot more going on, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's a country with such a rich and diverse heritage. Even in preparing for this, I was blown away by how much there is beyond the typical tourist trail.
Okay, you've piqued my interest. So let's start with the basics. We're talking about these UNESCO sites. It's like the best of the best, the places that are considered globally significant, right?
Exactly. It's like getting a gold medal for cultural or natural heritage. To be designated a World Heritage Site by UNESCO, a place has to meet really specific criteria, showing that it's of outstanding universal value.
So not just a pretty place, but something truly exceptional. Okay, so what gold medal spots does Zimbabwe have to offer? Hit me with your best shot.
All right, let's start with a poster child for Zimbabwean history, the Great Zimbabwe National Monument.
Okay, I've definitely seen pictures of those ruins. What's the story there?
So imagine this. Towering stone walls, intricate designs, all meticulously crafted by the Shona people without using any mortar.
Whoa, no mortar. That's impressive.
Right, these structures were a symbol of power and sophistication for a kingdom that thrived between the 11th and 15th centuries.
It's amazing to think about the skill and artistry it took to build something so grand so long ago.
It really is, and those ruins offer us a tangible link to that distant past.
So if Great Zimbabwe represents this peak of civilization, what came after that?
Well, empires rise and fall, right?
Yeah, sadly that's true.
After the decline of Great Zimbabwe, a new power emerged, the Torwa dynasty, and they established their capital at a place called Khami, which is also a World Heritage Site.
Ah, so we're seeing a continuation of these powerful kingdoms, but in a different location.
Exactly. And the Khami ruins are fascinating because they show how traditions evolved.
Like a spin-off.
Kind of. You see similarities to Great Zimbabwe in the architecture, but also a distinct evolution in design. It's like a whole other chapter in the story of Zimbabwean history.
Okay, so we've got ancient cities, kingdoms, architectural innovation. But I'm curious about those spectacular granite outcrops mentioned in the source material. Those are the Matobo Hills, right?
Absolutely. And those are incredible, but they're more than just a pretty landscape.
Oh, I'm intrigued. Tell me more. What makes them so special?
Well, they've been inhabited for thousands of years and are considered sacred by indigenous communities.
So there's a deep spiritual connection to the land there.
Yeah, exactly. And that's reflected in the rock art found throughout the hills.
Rock art, like paintings.
Yeah, they offer these incredible glimpses into the lives and beliefs of those who came before. It's like a giant outdoor museum.
Wow, a place where you can literally walk through history. That's amazing. Okay, so we've got ancient cities, sacred hills. What else does Zimbabwe have up its sleeve? We haven't even talked about Victoria Falls.
Right. You can't forget about Victoria Falls, or as the locals call it, Mosi-oa-Tunya, the smoke that thunders.
I mean, come on. It's one of the most famous waterfalls in the world.
Yeah.
What more is there to say?
Well, it's not just famous for nothing. It's the largest waterfall in the world based on its width and height. A true spectacle of nature.
Okay, I'll admit, even I know you can't visit Zimbabwe and not be completely blown away by Victoria Falls.
Exactly. But it's not just a pretty sight. It plays such an important role in the ecosystem.
Right, it's not just about the Gagram. There's a whole ecosystem that depends on it.
Exactly. And that biodiversity is a big part of what makes it a World Heritage Site, too.
Okay, so we've got ancient ruins, sacred hills, thundering waterfalls. I'm sensing a theme here, as Zimbabwe's got it all. But hold on, I remember you mentioned something about a tentative list?
Oh, yeah. So that's for sites that a country has put forward as potential World Heritage Sites, kind of like they're on the waiting list to become super famous.
A waiting list for World Heritage status. What sites from Zimbabwe are hoping to make the cut?
Well, one is the Ziwa National Monument. You might not know it yet, but it's got incredible biodiversity. It's home to tons of species, some of them endangered.
It's like a hidden gem, just waiting to be discovered. Okay, what about the other site?
The other site is the Naletale cluster of Zimbabwes. Remember how we were talking about the architectural evolution from Great Zimbabwe to Khami?
Yeah, it's like a historical choose-your-own-adventure.
Right. Well, Naletale adds another chapter to that story. It represents yet another distinct phase in the development of ancient Zimbabwean civilization.
So it's like each of these sites is a piece of the puzzle, helping us understand the bigger picture of Zimbabwe's past. This is amazing. It's clear that Zimbabwe has a rich and diverse history, and I, for one, am ready to dive deeper into these incredible sites. But first, a quick break.
Okay, so before the break, we were talking about all these incredible UNESCO World Heritage Sites in Zimbabwe.
And we were just getting to the tentative lists, those sites that are hoping to get that recognition.
Right. It's like they're waiting in the wings to become the next big thing.
And believe me, they deserve it.
Okay, so you were saying one of them is the Ziwa National Monument, which sounds like it's bursting with wildlife.
Oh, absolutely. We're talking incredible biodiversity here, a haven for so many different species, including some that are endangered.
Wow, it's like a conservationist dream. What kind of animals are we talking about? I need details. Well, it depends on what part of the monument you're exploring, but you could encounter anything from elephants and lions to rare birds and antelope.
Wow, that's incredible. So it's not just about the number of species, but also the fact that it's home to these vulnerable populations.
Exactly. And that's a big part of what makes it a strong contender for World Heritage status. It's not just a nice place to visit, it's a place that's vital for conservation.
I can definitely see why Zimbabwe would want to protect that for future generations. Okay, what about the other site on the tentative list? The Naletale cluster of Zimbabwes, right?
That's the one. And you know how we were discussing Great Zimbabwe and Khami, those incredible stone cities?
Yeah, like stepping back in time.
Exactly. Well, Naletale adds another layer to that story.
Oh, tell me more. How does it fit into the picture?
Think of it like this. If Great Zimbabwe was chapter 1 of a dynasty, and Khami was chapter 2, then Naletale is chapter 3. It shows another phase in the development of these ancient Zimbabwean settlements.
So each site offers a unique glimpse into a specific moment in history.
Precisely. And that's what makes exploring these sites so fascinating. You're not just seeing static ruins, you're tracing the evolution of a civilization.
It's like piecing together a giant puzzle. Okay, so we've got these amazing sites, past, present, and potentially future UNESCO wonders. But I keep thinking about something you mentioned earlier, that being designated a World Heritage Site isn't just an honor, it's a responsibility.
Oh, absolutely. It's like you get the gold medal, but then you've got to keep training to keep it. These
Yeah.
places require constant care and attention.
So what are some of the challenges involved in protecting these sites in Zimbabwe?
Well, a lot of them face similar threats.
Like what?
Think uncontrolled urban development, unsustainable tourism practices. All those things can take a toll.
I see. So it's like a constant balancing act, trying to share these incredible places with the world while also making sure they're still around for future generations.
Exactly. And on top of that, you have factors like climate change, political instability, economic challenges. All these things can impact a country's ability to protect its heritage.
Those are some heavy challenges, for sure. It makes you realize that preserving these sites is an ongoing process, a constant battle against the odds. But there are people working to protect these places, right? I mean, it's not all doom and gloom.
No, absolutely not. There's so much incredible work being done. You've got passionate individuals, dedicated organizations, local communities who are all fighting to safeguard their heritage.
So it's a collective effort. What kind of things are they doing? Give me some hope here.
Well, for one thing, they're raising awareness about the importance of these sites, both locally and internationally.
Right, because if people don't know about it, how can they care for it?
Exactly. They're also working on things like sustainable tourism initiatives, trying to find ways to share these places responsibly. And then there's research, conservation efforts, all sorts of things happening behind the scenes.
That's reassuring to hear. It sounds like a multi-pronged approach, tackling the problem from all angles. And I'm guessing there's a role for international collaboration, too.
Oh, absolutely. UNESCO itself plays a big role in providing support and guidance. And then you have organizations from all over the world that contribute funding, expertise, you name it.
So it's like a global team effort, everyone coming together to protect something precious.
That's a great way to put it. Because ultimately, these sites don't just belong to Zimbabwe, they belong to all of us.
It makes you realize that even if we can't physically be there, we can still play a part in protecting them.
Exactly. And one way to do that is by staying informed. UNESCO actually puts out these really detailed reports on the state of conservation for each World Heritage Site.
Oh, I didn't know that. What kind of information do those reports include?
Pretty much everything you'd want to know. They outline the specific threats each site faces, the actions being taken to address those threats, the overall outlook for the future. It's a wealth of knowledge.
So if someone really wants to geek out and learn the nitty-gritty details, they can dive into these reports.
Precisely. They're a fantastic resource for anyone who wants to go beyond the surface level.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. We've journeyed through ancient cities, marveled at waterfalls, explored the challenges of conservation. But I can't help but feel like we've only scratched the surface of what makes Zimbabwe so special.
I was just thinking that. We haven't even touched on the country's incredible, intangible cultural heritage.
Oh, right. You mentioned that term earlier, and I've been curious ever since. What exactly does that mean?
It's a great question. Think of it as the heart and soul of a culture. Things like traditions, rituals, music, dance, craftsmanship, those living expressions of heritage that are passed down through generations.
So, not just physical places, but the things that make a culture come alive.
Exactly.
So you're saying that Zimbabwe's cultural heritage goes way beyond the impressive stone structures and natural wonders we've been talking about.
Absolutely. There's a whole other dimension to explore, and that's where intangible cultural heritage comes in.
All right, you've kept me in suspense long enough. Give me some examples. What kind of intangible heritage are we talking about in Zimbabwe?
Well, think about the vibrant music and dance traditions.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about those.
They're incredible, and it's not just about the performance, it's about the cultural significance, the stories being told, the connections to ancestors and history.
So it's like each dance, each song carries a deeper meaning. It's a
It-
way to transmit knowledge and traditions across generations.
Precisely. And then you have things like craftsmanship.
Okay, like what?
Intricate basket weaving, beautiful wood carvings, pottery. These are skills that have been honed over generations. And they're not just crafts, they're expressions of cultural identity.
It's amazing how something like a basket can hold so much cultural significance.
Exactly. And let's not forget about oral storytelling traditions.
Oh, right. Passing down history and legends through spoken word.
Exactly. It's a powerful way to keep those stories alive, to connect with the past, and to share cultural values.
It's like a living history book.
Yeah.
It makes you realize that culture isn't static. It's constantly evolving, being shaped by each generation.
You got it. And that's why it's so important to recognize and support intangible cultural heritage, because it's not something you can just lock up in a museum. It has to be lived, practiced, passed on.
Okay, so we've talked about tangible heritage, like those amazing World Heritage Sites, and now intangible heritage. But I've also heard about something called biosphere reserves. How do those fit into the picture?
Ah, yes. Biosphere reserves are really cool. They're designated areas where conservation meets sustainable development.
So it's like taking a more holistic approach to protecting a place, recognizing that it's not just about preserving nature in isolation, but also considering the needs of the people who live there.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
about finding that balance, that harmony between human activity and the natural world.
Does Zimbabwe have any biosphere reserves?
It does. And a great example is the Middle Zambezi Biosphere Reserve. It actually encompasses Manapools National Park, one of the World Heritage Sites we talked about earlier.
Oh, right. The one with all the incredible wildlife.
That's the one. But the Biosphere Reserve extends beyond the park's boundaries.
Oh, so it's like a protective buffer zone.
Exactly. It helps to manage resources more sustainably, to promote ecotourism, and to support the livelihoods of local communities.
It sounds like a win-win situation. You're protecting the natural environment while also empowering the people who live there.
That's the idea. It's about recognizing that conservation isn't just about protecting something static, but about supporting the entire ecosystem, both natural and human.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Wow.
We've covered so much ground in this deep dive. It's incredible how much there is to uncover about Zimbabwe, from ancient ruins to vibrant cultures to innovative conservation efforts.
Yeah.
It really paints a picture of a country that values its heritage and is committed to protecting it for future generations.
It really does. And the best part is, this is just the beginning. We've only scratched the surface.
For our listeners who are now feeling inspired to learn more, to plan their own Zimbabwean adventure, where should they start?
Well, UNESCO's website is a great resource. They have tons of information on all the World Heritage Sites, as well as those on the tentative list. Plus, they have those detailed state of conservation reports we mentioned.
Yes, those reports are a treasure trove of information for anyone who wants to geek out on the specifics.
Exactly. And of course, there are countless other resources out there, from travel blogs to academic journals to documentaries. It just depends how deep you want to go.
That's the beauty of it. You can have a lifelong love affair with learning about a place like Zimbabwe, and there will always be something new to discover.
Well said. And you know what? Even though we've reached the end of this deep dive, I have a feeling it sparked a desire in both of us to keep exploring.
Oh, absolutely. And I hope our listeners feel the same way. The world is full of incredible places just waiting to be discovered. each with its own unique story to tell.
So, to everyone listening, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and never stop being amazed by the wonders of our planet.
And on that note, we'll say goodbye for now. Thanks for joining us on this incredible journey through Zimbabwe's UNESCO World Heritage.